There's still radio coming through on these headphones here.
How about now?
No.
Say it again. Yep.
Gotcha.
Both good?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect.
All right.
So we're going to do about a 10-minute banter, and then I'll introduce you on, and we'll get you started with your script.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's no phone calls, interviews today.
Okay. Good. All right. And then when we stop at 27, then I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to start editing it from here, and I'll start you on the next segment.
Okay.
So we'll be good.
Perfect.
All right. So 3, and this is going to air on 3/22,
Yeah, this Saturday.
and we are ready in 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, and it's another beautiful Saturday, and this is the Small Business Showcase with your co-host B-Rad. I do have some exciting news today. We have a new co-host who used to be on KOAA and is stepping broader into huge expansions and is helping out Small Business Showcase grow. So I'd like to welcome our new co-host, Jake Walker. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today, Jake?
Hey, B-Rad, thank you so much. I'm doing wonderful. I'm really excited to be here and be able to shine a light on some of the small businesses right here in our local community, because I was born and raised here and I care about our local business scene, and I'm so excited to see what we can talk about here.
So you're a native here. How much have you seen this town just change, and has it been good or bad with the changes?
Oh my gosh, man, my whole life here, 32 years, to give you perspective and context, and I would say, 2015 is like when I think things really started blowing up here, and then Colorado Springs became a tourist destination, and World and U.S. reports second best place to live, and then the number one, and then we're constantly on the top, and everyone's flocking here. So seeing that growth from about 2015 roughly there till now, it's a completely different city.
I got here in 2016, actually, January 2016 from Indiana. I can vouch that this place has changed. Like Interquest used to be beautiful. You could sit and just relax, look at the mountains, and now it's apartments and big buildings. It's crazy how much has changed in just 9 years, 10 years being here. But yeah, I've walked here. I came on vacation as a travel agent, saw the mountains and fell in love with vacation. Never ended for me.
There you go. And then you picked a great place to stay. I mean, it's so beautiful. Even 32 years later, living here my whole life, I look at the mountains and I pull out my phone and I'm like, I gotta take a selfie. This is so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Even at Carter of the Gods, we still do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's just the best place to live. I love it.
So would you go anywhere else, travel anywhere else, or even try to move somewhere with you being a native here?
Right, and I've been so stuck in my Colorado box. I rarely venture out of it. I've been to California. I've been fortunate enough to go to Hawaii, the big island, and I had so much fun out there. That was my first time actually seeing the ocean, was Hawaii. So then you can imagine when I went to San Francisco and saw the ocean again, I was like, oh, ew, it's a little different. It's not turquoise. But as far as other places than that I would want to go, I want to go to somewhere to Europe. I want to go across the pond. I want to go out of the country.
But have you not left the country yet?
I don't have my passport yet.
You know how simple it is. I got my passport pending.
Hey, there you go. I mean, we really have no excuse. I just need to go and do it. And yeah.
Well, I could tell you that some cruises are possibilities in the future, because we could do like a small business showcase little cruise and have some, business owners, maybe, some listeners, and just get a whole group deal and all of us go. And let's just say if you're a Pirates of the Caribbean fan like me, go on the Caribbeans and see if we could find Davy Jones's locker.
Okay, I like it. And maybe the water will be a little bit prettier than other places.
I mean, I've only been to the Atlantic side. I've been to Myrtle Beach once and Cocoa Beach, Orlando twice. So I've seen the dirty parts of the Atlantic. So when people say that you see the Pacific and you see the clearness, it's just hard for me to imagine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just something else. It's beautiful. It's like better than the pictures because it's just all around you.
It definitely is. And then it's just crazy how everything continues to just grow.
Right.
So we do have some cool guests today. We do have 2 sponsors today. We have Stephen Christopher with Martial Arts and Mental Health. Then we have an inspiration piece from Strengthen Me by Joy. I met her at the network group 1 Million Cups, and she's got a story, so we're bringing her on for her to tell her story. After the break, we'll have Jordan with Jordan's Pest Control, because, Unfortunately, ants and flies are about ready to return, but that still means good weather, right?
There you go. Right, exactly. It's a double-edged sword.
Definitely is. And then we have our sponsor, Bo Hughes, today to talk about some insurance and why, if you don't have it, you should definitely have it. So,
Yeah, good advice.
yeah, well, I don't know. I hate paying for insurance. So if I could get insurance for free, I would love that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm sure he can maybe clear up some misconceptions about insurance that are out there.
And with Stephen coming on today, he's going to talk about psychotherapy, which is something that, especially men, we, do not focus enough on men's health, anything like that. So
That part.
this is something that, I love that he's a sponsor and can really help bring people together and help them live better lives. So without further ado, I do want to bring on Stephen Christopher with Martial Arts and Mental Health. How are you doing today, Stephen?
I'm doing great. Good
So-
to be here.
Glad you're here. Now, you said on the phone yesterday you wanted to talk about psychotherapy and go into more in-depth of who started it. I forgot the guy's name, so I'm going to let you take over on that.
Well, most people remember Sigmund Freud. He was an Austrian neurologist, so he was a medical doctor. And he had clients coming to him who had physical problems, the pain here, arms not working right or whatever, what we would call psychosomatic responses. And they would check them out, and they would find out that there was nothing physically wrong with these people. So he started thinking about it. Well, what could this be? And that's when he came up with the whole concept of what we call psychoanalysis. Talking about what's going on in your life. And you got to remember the context of where this happened. This was the Victorian age. Women were very repressed. They wore clothes with high collars and long sleeves and dresses all the way to the floor. A lot of these women, because they were well-to-do, were in arranged marriages, so they weren't happy. So it was actually the anxiety and stress and frustration that they were dealing with, which manifested itself into the physical. And that's what psychosomatic is. Psych being the mind, soma being the Greek word for body. And so they were having these issues, and they checked them out. And that's when Freud started coming up with this concept of mental health and psychoanalysis. And when you look at the medical field, medical research, herbs, spices, all those things like that, the medicines, those go back thousands of years to ancient Greek. But this psychotherapy started about 100 years ago.
Oh.
So we're still in our infancy here. We're still learning new things all the time about it. They've learned to map the brain now so we can see how that works. And when we talk about the brain, you got to remember that the brain weighs about 3 pounds. It's 2% of our total body weight, but it uses 25% of our energy every day. So the difference between the brain and the mind is kind of like a computer. You buy a new computer, it comes with hardware. That's the computer. Then you get the software, the programs that you load onto. That's the mental part of it. That's the psychological part of it. Okay, and so what do you do with that? Well, you download it from other sources, and that's how we learn. When we grow up, it's what we experience. We download from our brothers and sisters, our parents, our school teachers, our coaches, and that's what we learn. Most of that's good stuff, but not everything. I mean, every now and then we get a virus in our computer, right?
Mm-hmm,
You get some malware, Okay, same thing with our mind. And if it happens early in life and lasts for a long time, then we have what we call complex trauma, which means we never feel totally safe and secure. We're like walking on eggshells. Okay, so you got a boss who's a bully. You got a neighborhood kid who's a bully. You're in a bad marriage or whatever. That's lasting for a long period of time. Simple trauma is what we see with first responders, soldiers, policemen, firemen. A real horrific event, but that is a one-time thing. And it takes time to get over these things. We don't just, naturally get over this stuff. A lot of times we need help analyzing it, figuring it out. So about half of my practice is the martial arts program, which focuses on children. Because these kids are easy to program. They're being programmed all the time. They're open. They're curious, and they're adventurous. So when I teach them something, I show them something, they're willing to try it because they don't have all that negative stuff downloaded on them. Adults, it's a little harder. And that's where the trauma part comes in, because we've all got a little post-traumatic stress from things that happened to us in the past. And it still affects us. And like I said, this is a science which is in its infancy. I mean, we know people who are famous psychics, who can actually predict things, can talk to people who have passed on and so forth. We don't know how that works. You know, that's a mystery to us. But we know it happens. You know, so we're still in infancy, but we're stuck on the medical model because these guys were medical doctors. So if you go to the doctor because you're not feeling well, he takes a sample of your blood, whatever, and then he prescribes a medication for you. Okay, well, how do we know what's wrong with your mind? You know, we could take a sample of your blood. It's not going to tell us, oh, I've got anxiety, or I've got this, or I've got that. So we're still kind of fighting that battle.
So it sounds like what you're saying when it comes to fighting that battle, that it's not always just anxiety, depression, bipolar, that there could be individual cases with people the more it starts developing and the more that we're learning. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, and it's a blend. It's not just anxiety. It's not just stress or frustration. It's a combination of things. You know, the way they want us to do it is they want me to ask you what's going on. You know, I'm having nightmares. I'm having trouble sleeping. You know, I'm arguing with my wife and my children. I'm not getting along at work. All those kinds of things. And then I'm supposed to look it up in the book, and it's supposed to tell me what type of therapy to use for you. Well, that doesn't work for everybody because everybody's not going to fit into that box. But see, that's the medical model. Okay. Now, what we do is we look at what are the symptoms. Okay, how often does this happen? When does it happen? Okay, let's go back into your childhood, your history, because that's where this started. You know, we don't know about the future. We do know about the past. You know, everything that's happened to all of us right up until this moment is in the past. And the only thing we have is our memories of it. And they can be distorted. You know, so we have to look at that, figure out why I feel this way when I get triggered. You know, when I hear a certain song, it reminds me of when I was at the prom with my girl. You know, oh, that was a good time, okay? Or I hear something else and it reminds me of a terrible time.
Right, and it's you can almost feel it. And I'm hearing you say this connection between your body and your mind. And I took Taekwondo back when I was 16. And part of our chant every day to start class, the last part we would say was Hasa Busong, just mind and body as one. Mm-hmm. So this is just resonating in my head. This is almost like therapy that's so personal to me right now. What you're saying is really resonating to me. That connection between your body and your mind, it's truly important. Like one really does affect the other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, if you got a cold or the flu, you're not a happy person. You're a grumpy person. Nobody wants to be around you because you physically don't feel well. Well, what if you've got this post-traumatic stress that's affecting you? Yeah, you're going to be a little on edge. You know, you might snap at the people who were closest to you, which is not fair because, you know, they didn't cause this problem.
So with everything that we've talked about with the connection, body and mind, so it also shows that, you know, food goes with it too, because one thing that you talk about is how food is I'm losing my thought process, but me and you've had this conversation plenty before because you don't like that I do carnivore and eat meat. So,
well, that's a personal preference. I am a vegetarian, have been for 40 years. Okay, it works for me. Now, you know, everybody has to look at it. You know, be your own best advocate. Do the research. You know, there's a lot of research out there that shows having more fruits and vegetables in your diet is healthier. We've known this for years. You know, just like we've known smoking cigarettes is not good for you. You know, but again, you know, that's a personal preference. I have made that change a long time ago. And when I first started, boy, going to a restaurant was hard to find anything that didn't have meat or dairy in it. So it was give me some bread and give me a salad. And that was it.
Well, that's Santiago restaurant shocked me that you've taken me there a couple of times. Am I
The
saying
best. The best.
It's
Am I saying that-
Santana's.
Okay, so you about to say
Santiago's is in Denver. Love
Yeah.
them too.
No, this is up on
Austin Bluffs.
Bluffs. Yeah, Santana's Grill.
Yeah,
Trying it soon.
I've had the burger there, and he made fun of me because the first time there I got grilled cheese. He's like, "How could you try that?" I said, "Because this isn't real cheese. At least I'm starting somewhere," and then I liked it, and then I end up trying the burger twice now with you. So, but one thing that Jake did a little bit of questions here, and one thing that he put down that I think is good anytime that we have you on is, what advice do you have for someone who might be struggling with their mental health and is even considering martial arts, especially now that you've launched those adult classes?
Well, in the adult class, we focus a lot on Tai Chi. We're not doing the punching and kicking as much. That's good to get the frustrations and everything and get the exercise and all that. But when we want to get that internal peace, that calmness, what we call cultivate a calm mind, then you need to do the breathing exercises, and that's what Tai Chi is all about. It's been around for 7,000 years, and it was considered one of the very first martial arts, and it wouldn't be here if it didn't work. But it helps us focus on that. At the end of my groups with the little kids and the teenagers, we always do some guided meditation, do some deep breathing, listen to some guided meditation so that they learn to calm themselves down. Because my job is to wear those little kids out.
Yeah, definitely. They need to get sleep when they get home.
Well, the parents want me to wear them out, and they do. They get in there and they run and they play and they have a good time, and they do the thing. But it's not martial arts as much as it's mental health therapy, using the martial arts as our medium.
That's what it did for me. And I can say 100% as someone who's gone through it, has struggled with bullies in high school and then mental health and self-worth. And to see the transformation in myself that made, and simply just by moving my body, by getting physical, by doing the martial arts and that whole art form, yeah, everything you're saying just totally resonates, and I love it.
I bet you can remember the names of all those bullies, too.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's the key. We got to remember to
100%.
let go of that.
See, that's the thing, and I couldn't tell you some of the names of people that told me the nicest things that kept me going. I don't know who's that, but the people that put you down, you hang on to it. And it's hard
What's
to let go.
funny? The person that always made fun of me, I just found out got sentenced to prison.
Oh.
So, karma is real.
It is.
That's bad
It
for
is.
him. Well, Stephen, we appreciate you for being on and being a sponsor of the show. How can someone get a hold of you if they want to learn more or to talk about joining a class and talking with you?
Well, the name of the agency is The Counseling Coach. Okay, you can look it up on the internet. The phone number is 719-473-6612. I do little kids, I do teens, I do adults, I do couples, I do families, all of that type of therapy.
Perfect. And we look forward to having you on again. And thank you again for being a sponsor, and enjoy the rest of your week, too.
Okay, you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So Stephen did a lot of great information for us, and that's why I love him having a sponsor. So we're going to continue with inspiration with my lovely friend here, Joy. I sat and went at Western Omelet with her and got to hear her story, and I'm like, I love your story and everything you do. Like, we got to get you on the show and just let you kind of talk and be the inspiration you were when you gave that speech. So how you doing today, Joy?
I am breathing and blessed and not complaining about the rest.
And that is perfect.
I love it.
So, where do you want to start with your story? I kind of want to give it more to you. Normally, I ask people who they are, what they do, but just because of how inspiration I feel your story is, where do you want to start?
Well, I can honestly start at the beginning, but it's so much of it that I got to try to break it down in small increments of the story.
Yeah, because we are on a time limit, unfortunately. But Joy will be a part of the TikTok and YouTube features that we're about ready to do to really start telling her story, too. So, just because we're doing it today, it doesn't stop there.
Absolutely. You can definitely find this story everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. But it starts on the south side of Chicago. As a young girl, I went through some things, right? Molestation and some things sexually that wasn't quite comfortable, but they all led up to me being the most resilient person that I've ever met. So I am a stroke survivor. I had a stroke when I was 31, and all the things that happened to me as a kid had prepared me for everything that I'm going through as an adult. So now I know that there's absolutely nothing that I can't get through with the strength in you. So like I said, I'm a stroke survivor. I had a stroke at 31. I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't swallow. And I didn't know what I was going to do with my life because my left side was paralyzed. My kids were 2 and 5 years old. And they were at home with me when it all happened. And so my logic was, my mom died from a stroke when I was 10. So now that I'm still here, my kids have me and can still say mom.
So you said you were 31, and how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking? Because I know it's rude for a gentleman to ask a lady
No,
that.
I love it because I'm fine for my age, Sugarfoot. I am 42 years young. I'll be 43 September 23rd. Yes.
We're going to have to throw a big birthday party for you.
Turn up.
I'll be there.
Yeah, so let's see. What can I tell you from that?
Well, now if people go to the YouTube, the TikTok, or even go to the B-Red site live, they'll be able to see this. So let's see your left side because it's not paralyzed anymore, correct?
No, it's not paralyzed anymore. I've had some surgery to help correct some things, some tendon transfers, some tendon lengthenings. So now I have range of motion.
Yes.
And so I got more movement, so it's not paralyzed anymore, but the sensation is different. But that's okay because nevertheless, I have feeling. Everybody can't feel, and I once couldn't feel. So I embraced every bit of pain that comes through my left side.
Joy, you seem like such a confident person. You have such a glow about you. Do you ever have moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I just don't know?
Of course, I'm human. Although I'm spicy.
I can tell. That's why I love you already.
But no, I'm absolutely human, and I have down moments. I never give a whole day away to things that I can't do nothing about. So I try to do my best to focus only on things that I can actually control. And when I have those hard days and those moments throughout the day, I find myself with music. I sing all the time. I dance all the time. And I make fun of myself, hence me being a comedian. So,
What's your favorite music? What is the stuff that keeps you going the most?
neo soul.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
honey. And then I may throw a little line dancing in there because I got to hit you with some cha-cha slide.
With the cha-cha
or the
slide and the
flex or
wobble?
something.
We
Yes,
do the wobble right
ow,
now.
Yeah.
Wobble, baby, wobble.
So you're going to go with me and Jake Tillaberla B on Friday or
Yeah.
Saturday to their beehive, and we're going to dance together, right?
Absolutely. Just send me the invite, Sugarfoot. I'm in the building, okay?
This weekend.
Let's get it.
Right.
This weekend. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Little pre-celebration for your birthday.
Let's do it. I'm with it.
Well, I'm so excited to talk with you and just about your strength. And I think that's something important that we all need to know that, yeah, some people seem so confident and so strong, but we all hurt. Same here. And you have these moments that really test your strength with life. And you could want to give up and you don't, and you keep going. Is it just one thing or one time that you just said, okay, yeah, I'm going to keep going, and that was that? Or did you have to continually remind yourself?
Every day is a reminder. Literally every day I wake up and remind myself that I am very handy capable with a different ability and I can do whatever it is that presents itself to me that day. So literally every day I wake up with pain because I'm a stroke survivor. There is real problems. But I literally choose happiness and I choose to be positive throughout the day. So every day I have to find that oomph to say I'm going to push a little harder. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Because never give in to giving up on yourself is a real thing.
So what is the best advice that you can give someone, like, even if they're not in that situation where they have a stroke, but they're struggling mentally, because the organization you're doing is also going to help people. So what is the best advice that you could give to someone, even on their worst day, where it's just like, I can't take it anymore? Because we've all had that, but you're such a positive person with everything you've been through. What is the advice that was given to you that lit that fire?
To be honest, I didn't get the advice like I really needed. But one person said something to me, and that was my big sister. And when I was saying, why me? She said, why not you? And then it flipped something in my mind, and it said, well, who else strong enough to do what I can do? Like, I'm Joy with an eye because he had his eye on me. So now I know that, why not me? I'm not special to make it to where I can't go through life. Life will always present itself. But when life presents itself, you have to show up even harder. And remember that those self affirmations are a real thing, because the things you speak out of your mouth is what you're reiterating to your brain. So it's so important to you to speak life and courage and just strength. Hence the strength in you, because faith without work is dead. So you have to put that work in. You have to choose happiness, and you have to fight for your happiness, regardless of what it looks like. And it's going to look different for everybody, but your happiness matters. So just search it out and keep doing different things until you find what's for you. Never giving in to giving up on yourself.
You're such an inspiration, and we are out of time. But if someone wanted to reach out to you and just needed that encouragement, because I know that's the kind of person you are in general, how can they reach out to you or to your organization to learn more?
Well, they can reach out to me at strengthenyou.org. You can find me on Facebook at Joy Town or Strength in You, and Juicy Joy, Juucee, because she got the juice. But no, you can find me anywhere where Strength in You is. Joy Town on every platform. I am literally everywhere. So you can find me anywhere, Sugarfoot.
Perfect.
Joy, thanks for choosing positivity even when it's hard every day. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You're such an inspiration. So thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
And
for having me.
This isn't the last you'll hear from Joy either, because we're going to definitely showcase her with our YouTube and TikTok that's going to be rolling out in the next month.
Yes.
So we are getting ready for a break here. So we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Bo Hughes. We have James Foster's Farmers Insurance, Brandy Pendleton with Pendleton Heating and Cooling, Stephen Christopher with Martial Arts and Mental Health, Kara and Veda with Claw and Shield. So we appreciate you for listening. Don't go away after the break. We still have Jordan's Pest Control and Bo Hughes coming up, and a little bit more banter with me and Jake here.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Okay.
Perfect.
This real quick.
And then will you ask Jordan to come in?
Yes. Can I give love real quick?
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, honey.
I gotta
I
get you on
appreciate you.
Facebook. I'm gonna add
I
you when I'm
appreciate
not
you so
live
much.
on
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
for coming in.
Add me, find me.
Yes. will
Thank
do,
you, honey.
Joy.
Yeah,
Thank
send me the
you.
information for the weekend,
Yeah.
and I will be there
Yeah. Do you prefer Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
All right. Let's play for Friday.
Let's do it.
I feel like I've had 30 minutes of therapy right now. Just inspiration and wow.
You mind if I record?
No, we're all recording right now. I'm recorded.
Yeah.
He's recorded.
All
It's a
right.
party.
So, Dan, what'd
That
you
looks
think
fun.
of it so far compared to past episodes?
Courage and just strength.
Hey, after the break, we still have. I don't think he heard me.
Oh no, it's chopping stuff up. Chop, chop, chop.
Good to see you, B-Rad.
Yes, sir.
And your name?
I'm
I'm
Jake.
the worst with name. Jake.
Jake, yeah.
pleasure.
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
State Farm.
Good to see you. Good to see
Good
you.
to see you as well.
I'm excited to chat all things pest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited as well. I always thought that being a radio DJ would be the coolest job.
Oh yeah.
You know? Oh, yeah. When I was, going through my transitions and what I was going to do, I thought that would be just the coolest thing.
And now you get experience today.
I mean,
Here
it's
we are.
amazing.
And
It's really
most guests don't get to see the radio newsroom, so you got a bonus
cool. I
today.
really appreciate
Two
that.
for
Thank
one.
you, guys. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
It's a whole different beast than any other industry. Yeah, being in radio.
How do you feel being, half of the show's done now?
Yeah.
First
Oh,
episode.
I love it. This was so inspiring to me to be here. I want to listen to it just so I can hear what Joy had to say again. And
Well, you can
And
replay by
Steven as
Facebook
well.
Live, too.
yeah.
So that
there
way we can grow our own audience by watching the other ones.
There we go.
Okay, we are ready.
Right on.
And 3. You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
And we're back. Thanks again for listening to the Small Business Showcase on this beautiful Saturday. I'm B-Rad with the co-host, Jake. How you doing again?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
So we've had a great first few guests, really inspiration, get things motivated. Now, we do have a group on Mondays that we run. It's normally for business owners, but I want to open it up to anyone listening. And if you happen to be able to come, it's at 10 a.m. on Mondays. It's Motivation Monday. It is a place where we motivate each other for the week, and it'd be a good place if someone's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur to come to cheesecake for this too. So we look forward to seeing you
Double
there for that.
motivation on a motivation Monday.
Definitely
Cheesecake?
is.
Sign me up.
So, again, we want to thank our sponsors, Bo Hughes, or James Foster, Farmers Insurance, Brandy Pendleton, Pendleton Heating and Cooling, Stephen Christopher, Martial Arts and Mental Health, and Karen Veda with Claw and Shield. Up next, we have the man with that keeps our homes away from the bugs, Jordan with Jordan's Pest Control.
Hello.
How you doing today, Jordan?
I'm doing well. How are you, B-Rad?
Doing great. Now,
Good.
he normally has a mascot. His dog, unfortunately, he's not here. What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Husker.
Husker. Well, how'd you come up with that name?
I was born in Nebraska, so I bleed Husker red. So.
That's my dad right there. We had a
Yeah.
cat named Husker as well. I
Yeah.
can't believe you said that. Wow. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
Just for my dad.
Well, his dog is amazing. I've met him a few times. So I am assuming with you having Husker, none of your products are deadly to animals, anything like that you use, correct?
No. All the stuff that I use, unlike the store-bought product, is professional grade and EPA approved. So the EPA goes through all the pesticides and everything each year and rates them on their toxicity and gives them if they're safe for animals, safe to be around kids, where they're to be used at, whether that's a hospital, daycare, stuff like that. It'll say on the label. And in pest control, the label is the law. So if you read the label, it'll tell you exactly where you can put it, how much you can put, the dilution rate. So as long as you're following the label on those products, then you're following the law.
So what made you decide to go and become a pest control business owner out of all the options? Because you did mention earlier while we weren't on the air that you wanted to be a radio DJ. So you're getting to live that today. So
Yeah,
even
it's a
today
pleasure.
maybe making you switch. But what made you go to the pest control of all things?
I've had a lot of experiences in life. When I first started working, when I got out of high school, it was a lot of manual labor jobs. So roofing. I worked at the Tyson fresh food plant, so cutting up beef and cattle, very physical labor jobs. And then when I was about 21, 22, I got the chance to go to London. And I lived in London for 4 years. Got a lot of office experience when I lived there. So I went on an internship and learned about working in an office atmosphere, downtown London, doing the tube, traveling, stuff like that. So when I came back, I was running a company with my ex-wife. And it was an international education recruitment firm. When we came back, my family's still in Kansas. I wasn't going to live in Kansas anymore, so I ended up in Colorado Springs. I walked away from that company. And so when I started diving into what kind of career paths I wanted to get into, I landed in the car business. I'm all about relationships. I love building relationships with people. And in the car business, I was doing that, but a lot of it was out of my hands as far as the people that my relationships dealt with. So the individuals I'm building relationships with would have bad experiences with the finance manager or a manager at the facility, and then that would tank my reputation. So I wasn't able to build those lasting relationships. So after I left the car business, I pondered around, filled out some applications, and landed at a pest control agency and just fell in love with it. I was able to go to people's homes, take care of them, take care of their family, build those relationships. And from that, a lot of my clients told me that I should start my own business. So after 5.5 years of working in the pest control industry, I had the correct licensing as a QS to start my own business. So I spread my wings last January, and in March, I launched my company. It's been a year and like 3 weeks now. I've been running Jordan Pest Control.
Congratulations. Would you ever go back to the W-2 job and do it again with the pest control, or would you prefer to be an entrepreneur yourself with your year in?
I don't ever see myself going back to a W-2 position. I do now pay myself in a W-2, which I do appreciate that. But it's just, I have the freedom to take care of my clients the way I want to, and the freedom to explore different options to make sure I'm taking care of the client. Where there's a lot of red tape in all the other businesses and their practices that I don't agree with. It's been an emotional journey, one of the most emotional, and it's not for the faint-hearted. But getting through that first initial 3 months, 4 months, where it was really taking a toll on me emotionally. Like I felt feelings that I didn't even know existed. You know, the stress and the worry. When you're starting your own business, it's not a joke. So yeah, I don't think I'll ever go back. And I don't know what the future has in store. I just want to help people out. And hopefully I can get out to a bunch of people here on the show and be able to help out families here in Colorado Springs area.
What are some of the most common pest problems homeowners and businesses here in Colorado Springs face?
That would be probably mice. mice, especially towards the winter time. They like to come out and get into warm spaces, even bake at home with no food or anything. They just want the shelter. So they make their way in through the gap in your garage door, get into the garage, and then the garage is never sealed up, extremely tight or anything. So they get in the plumbing, get into the utility rooms, stuff like that. So I would say mice, gophers. Gophers are a big deal on people with any kind of property. They tear up the ground and build big mounds, stuff like that. So they're a nuisance. We do have black widows. I have heard a lot of people say they've seen brown recluses. I've never seen one in the 7.5 years I've been doing pest control here, but I've seen many black widows.
Same.
So if you see a black spider with an hourglass shape on its back, do not get close to it. Call me. I'm happy to come take care of you.
Run away. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously you can handle the creepy critters and all these things. But like for context, when I go on the radio, there's a certain level of nervousness I have. When you're going to kill some of these black widows and things like that, do you have any bit of nervousness inside, or is it just like, nah, I got this?
I look at it like I'm taking care of my clients. Nothing gets in the way of that. I crawl in crawl spaces where nobody's been in there in years. I'm crawling through webs. I'm crawling through mouse defecation, stuff
So you
like that.
crave the adventure. You're
Yeah,
like, bring it on.
it's an adventure, and then at the end of the day, I get to take care of the people the way they need to get taken care of. The problem with the pest control industry is it's gone away from technician focus, which is the heart and soul of the company. That's your face-to-face with your clients. That's the people that are out doing the jobs, putting in the work, putting in the extra work, and they pay them by job, so it's as quick as you can get in and out, the more you make, and with Jordan Pest Control, I want to bring more of the attention back to the technician. I don't want to pay a bunch of salespeople a bunch of money to go out here and sell my product. I want the word of mouth, for our service to travel around to everybody and get customers that way, because then I can focus on paying the quality technicians in the industry the right amount of money to go out and take care of my clients.
That's important because we're in a world where the corporate America is not too kind or generous to its working class.
No, they send out these sales teams. You hear these stories about salesmen going up to your door in the middle of your dinner. You're eating your nice steak. It's halfway done. And then they knock on the door. They take up an hour of your time. They're drinking chemicals in front of you. All this nonsense. If you need pest control, just do your due diligence. Search for the right one that fits you. Make a couple calls. Hopefully I'm one of them. And just find the right company that's going to come take care of you and your family. And it's not just going to be another stop on somebody's route that's getting paid per job that's going to rush through it. Because a thorough inspection is the biggest thing in pest control.
Is there any preventative measures people do to avoid infestation at all? Like, even if they don't see anything, like, you said mice is a big thing. So I'm assuming you say get a cat, for example.
Or, cat or exclusions, just going around the outside of your property and making sure that the gaps and holes in the property are sealed up. Your garage doors, make sure that you're replacing the seal on the bottom. They can squeeze through the littlest of cracks and crevices. So if you see anything and you don't think they can get through it, the chances are they probably can. And then the most importantly, just make sure you're cleaning up after yourself. I get called out to homes, that are really messy and cluttered and stuff, and that's just a breeding ground for infestations, whether it's roaches, mice, spiders, bugs, anything like that.
Well, we appreciate you for being on the show today. What is the best way someone could get a hold of you and just get at least a consultation from you?
Okay, so Jordan Pest Control on Facebook. My phone number is 719-985-1249. You can call or text. JBPest719 on Instagram. And my email is jordan@jbpest.org.
Right on, Jordan. Thanks for being here and taking care of your clients and all of the creepy, crawly things that go around your industry.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It was a blessing to be here. Thank you.
We appreciate you for coming out, and have a great rest of your week.
You too. Bye-bye.
Next up, we have our sponsor, Bo Hughes from James Foster Insurance. How are you doing today, Bo?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing great. So this is what we have, a couple questions for you that we've developed today. The first thing is, can you give an overview of James Foster's and your products for anyone out there that don't know who Farmers or James Foster's Farmers Insurance is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work for Farmers Insurance at the James Foster Agency. And at the James Foster Agency, we believe in supporting small business. helping people to obtain the right level of coverage on their policies, as well as trying to save them money in the process. We're all about people and relationships. That's really what we do. Anybody that comes to us to even just get a quote, we're invested in. We're trying to learn about them, what they do, their businesses. And personally, I try to promote everybody's businesses of people that I do business with on the internet, on posts, tag them, refer them. That's really our MO.
So how has industry changed over the years in insurance? I'm sure things have become a lot more expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that insurance prices are up across the board. And I think that there's a lot of different factors that kind of play into that. And a lot of people think that, like, oh, well, if it doesn't happen in Colorado, then it doesn't affect the insurance industry, but that's definitely not the case. So a lot of people don't realize this, but when you write an insurance policy for somebody, you have to have 3 times the amount of premium set aside in reserves to pay out a claim for whatever type of a policy you're writing. So if you're writing a $3,000 policy, the insurance company has to have $9,000 in the bank in order to pay out claims. So with that being said, there's a lot of changes, right? So California's been on fire for like 5, 6, 7 years, right? And every year we go through this fire season with the way that the real estate market has changed out there. A house used to be like maybe 500,000, but now you're looking million, 2 million, 5 million, right? And so these aren't small properties that are being rebuilt that are 300, 400,000. They're $1 million a piece. And when 50 of those pop up, think about how much money you have to have in reserves. If you're paying out $50 million in claims, then you have to have $150 million in reserves to pay out those claims.
Yeah,
and
just a
so,
little $150 million, no big deal.
So yeah, right. I mean,
That's a lot of money.
I can lay that down
makes
tomorrow,
sense. It makes a lot of sense that it is such an expense to be able to pay for these catastrophes and things that do happen. What about if I'm trying to get insurance for like my first time and I'm like, man, should I get this? Should I get that? Is there anything that you would say must do or must don't do?
I think one of the big things to do if you're new at purchasing insurance is actually to have a conversation with your agent about the coverages and let your agent break down what all of these do and why they're important. I deal with a lot of people on an everyday basis that carry state minimum insurance, which is what you need in order to be legal. But it's not what you need if you were to actually be in an accident and you were to, say, injure somebody or total somebody's brand new Tesla. The state minimum insurance is just not going to go very far, and you leave yourself open to potentially getting sued. So let me give you an example. You get in a car accident, the other person's injured, they're hauled away in an ambulance, they're taken to the hospital, they're there for 5 days. Those medical bills are going to be astronomical, crazy expensive. Let's say that they come out to $65,000. If you've got a $25,000 bodily injury, $50,000 per accident coverage, you leave yourself open to $40,000 that it doesn't just go away. And I think a lot of people think that it just goes away. It doesn't go away. Those people will turn around and go after you. They can come after your house. They can come after any assets that you have, up to and including garnishment of wages.
That really adds insult to injury. Kick me when I'm down. Jeez.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's why it's so important, right?
To talk to your agent.
As you're, going in, you need to understand what these coverages are, what they do, and why they're important, and what the risk is if you don't carry enough coverage.
And so if someone were to get insurance from a regular company, they could call a call center, and I'm sure they could explain this. But people could talk directly to you, right?
100%. Yeah. And that's my goal, right? Build a relationship. I'll look at coverages. I see those state minimums, and I'm going to quote it the same way they have it, but then I'm going to turn around after the fact and say, hey, this just is not enough coverage for you to have on your policy. I would highly recommend this. I get people that own homes that are carrying 25, 50, 15 bodily injury property damage. And a lot of these people don't realize that if they had a really bad car accident and they injured the other person or they totaled a brand new Tesla, that they could potentially lose the thing that they've worked so hard for over this accident because they don't have the money to pay it.
Right, so if you're going to do it right.
100%, right? It's great to have state minimum insurance and to be legal, But I think it's even more important that you have the right coverage in the event that something happens. And yes, that's going to cost a little bit more, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not.
So one thing that we do is we talk about auto insurance. Last week I was talking to a friend of mine who told me that he has a friend staying with him because he rented an apartment and the apartment caught fire and he didn't have renter's insurance. There's a lot of people that rent out there. What advice could you give people who are a renter and don't realize the value of having that? Because at the end of the day, this friend wouldn't be staying with his friend if they had renter's insurance, correct?
Right, because they'd have loss of use coverage on their policies. The first thing I'm going to say about renters, it's super cheap. Like, we're probably looking like $120 to maybe $360 if you write a really, really good renter's policy, which is like $10 to $30 a month. In the grand scheme of things, that's one
Worth it.
one meal going out to eat,
There
you
you
know,
go.
with two people, or and you can really beef up that coverage. Renter's policy is going to give you coverage for your personal property that got destroyed in that fire. It's going to give you coverage for loss of use. So if you got displaced from the house due to a covered loss, it's going to pay some living expenses. It's going to cover you for some liability, and it's also going to cover you for some medical payments.
When you're in the leasing office, I worked in a leasing office for a while, so I know with renter's insurance, they say if you don't sign up for renter's insurance, we'll give you ours. Well, that's liability only. Can you talk about the difference between personal property and liability insurance?
Oh
with
yeah,
renter's
absolutely.
insurance?
This is a good topic. I had somebody completely mess this up the other day. And they're
Oh,
like,
gosh.
So if my house burns down to the ground, am I getting $1 million or am I getting 400? And it's like, nope, that's not the way that works. The $1 million is liability. So yes, so you've got liability on a policy, which is if you are held liable for something. Like, let's say that you have somebody over for a dinner party. We're hanging out, we're cooking, and somebody chops their finger off. Well, and somehow it gets deemed that it's your fault. Maybe the knives are too sharp, something like that, right?
That's always an excuse.
I
They'll
was
find
doing
something.
Zumba and I bumped into you. Oops.
And now that person's like, well, I'm gonna come after you and I'm gonna sue you. What liability does is it protects you, so that if they come after you and try to sue you, that it's gonna pay what they're looking for, essentially. And you can have $100,000, $300,000, $500,000, or $1 million on a liability. And I think liability is the most important thing that you're covering on any insurance policy, whether it's auto, home, your life, right? Life insurance is so important too,
Because
because
it's the most expensive, right?
right, absolutely. If you went out tomorrow and didn't come home, what would be the impact to your wife, right? If she went out to work tomorrow and didn't come home, what would be the impact to you? Would you want to go back to work immediately?
Or he. But yeah.
Or he? Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. He or she.
Yeah, no, it's huge, and it's like what we said earlier. If you're gonna do it, you might as well do it good, because it's gonna just add insult to injury if you have this false sense of security here, and then you're like, oh wow, all of this money I still owe.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, trust me, you don't want to be sitting on someone else's couch if you didn't have renter's insurance, and there is no other insurance agent out there that I would trust with that to go and talk to you than Bo. So, what is the best way someone can reach you and talk to you, whether it's homeowners, auto, life, RV? How's the best way to reach you, and so that way you can make sure they're protected?
Yeah, absolutely. You would just give me a call or send me a text at 719-367-0348. Again, that's 719-367-0348.
And that'll reach you directly through text or calls, correct?
Absolutely, and I always respond immediately. So if you text me, I'm going to respond back. If I have appointments for that day, I'll reach back out and schedule. But I'm going to take care of people on the same day when they call.
And one last question before we get out of here, because a lot of people have experienced this with insurance agents. I got your policy, and then they ignore phone calls. Call into the call center. I personally know that that's not you, but let's let the audience know that you truly do care.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I hear this all the time. I deal with it when I'm trying to help people write their insurance policies and they need to get something from their other agent, and it's 3 days time that they're waiting for their other agent to get back to them on something that's super simple, like getting somebody a declarations page. I'm not just here to write a policy and to sell you a policy and then never talk to you again. That's definitely not my goal. I answer calls same day, whether or not it's somebody calling in to get a quote or whether it's somebody calling in that needs service. I care about my clients 100%. It's not about selling them a product. It's about retaining a relationship. It's about continuing to build that relationship, water that relationship, and to be there when you need me most. That is exactly what I do. And yes, there's a lot of insurance agents out there that'll sell you an insurance policy and you'll never be able to reach them again. But that's not Bo Hughes, and that's not James Foster, and that's not Farmers Insurance.
And that's why you're on this radio show, too.
Yeah.
What is your phone number one last time, just in case someone did not catch it?
It's 719-367-0348.
Awesome. And Bo will be here in a couple of weeks again to give us more education. And we appreciate you for being on the show and being a sponsor with your agency as well today, Bo.
Very, very much appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day.
You as well. And so, Jake, wow, what do you think? It's, you went from KOAA to here with Small Business Showcase with doing your own thing. Like, how do you
like that.
feel? Like,
It's
with
crazy.
everything?
It's crazy because I started my career in radio, so KVOR got me started back in the day, and then I moved to Magic, and then I did some stuff on KKTV, and I did some stuff on KOA, then I did some more radio. So now that I've done a year in TV, to be back in the radio studio, it's this comfort that you just don't get in television. And you know what I mean, when you can come in and wear sweatpants. I could be wearing sweatpants for all you know, but I am live on Facebook right now. 2 different feeds, so you
But
can't
we
see
still
me.
can't see below,
Right.
so...
Exactly. So I like the relaxation, the more time we can really spend to dive into things on radio that, you just don't get in television. And I think it's really exciting to be able to talk about local businesses here in a community that I care about. Because I could be doing media anywhere in the country, but doing it here where I grew up and I've lived my whole life just means so much to me. So I'm so excited to be here, and I'm just having so much fun already. Day one, boom. Well, I hope you keep me. I hope you're not like, okay, well, that was it. Day one and your final day.
I mean, would that be a record?
That would be the quick one. Yeah, quickest show.
Oh, so then I would always be remembered then if I did that.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Let's be remembered for other things.
Okay. Well, so Joy says tomorrow we're going to the Liberla Bee for the Queen Bee, and we're going to dance for her birthday.
Dancing.
So
I'm
I know,
already doing the
I know it's
waffle.
already only tomorrow, but is that something that co-host Jake will be able to come to?
Yes, everybody clap your hands. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. There better be some cha-cha slide for me.
Their
though. I
burlesque
require
show
that.
is sold out, but that's at 10 p.m. That's when they open up that dance floor, and
Beehive.
the Beehive is something
Yes.
amazing. Like, it's just an experience.
It is. It's unique, and it's unlike any other venue here in town. Straight or LGBT or not, and just any venue. The only thing I could compare it to would be like the Rabbit Hole restaurant, if you've been there.
I have not been to the Rabbit Hole,
Oh,
but
so unique.
let's just say the Liberla Bee has so many awesome memories for me, and their burlesque show are amazing. In fact, their general manager, Romeo, is going to be, Christopher Metzer to be more professional for him. He's going to be on the show next week to talk about his campaign for April 1st, City Council. And then we're also going to be talking to the bass guitarist of Saving Abel, Scott, as well, too, next week.
So excited for that. Music, runs my life, and to be able to talk to him, oh man, I'm already fangirling right now.
He's going to be on the phone, though, so no one on the live is going to hear. They'll have to wait till Saturday to hear.
Man.
So they'll hear what we're saying, but they won't hear him.
Just be empty. Be like, ooh, you're getting half the picture.
And we got to thank Sunshine Studios Christina for that. She made that opportunity for it. And we truly appreciate her and Sunshine Studios for being a partner. If you have not been there for a show or for their karaoke, definitely go check them out and have a good time, because it's always a party over there, especially when they start opening up those concerts outside.
Oh, and that's what I'm so ready for when we were talking about pest control and the weather getting warmer and the pests coming out. Well, the concerts and the outdoor stuff, that's coming out too. So I'm really excited for some of that stuff. Territory days.
Yes.
That's a couple months away, less than.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate everyone listening and hope you enjoyed today's show and the inspiration from Joy as well. And, we want to thank Jake for coming on as part of the team. And we look forward to seeing, we did say the formats were going to be changing. So
Yes.
in April, the whole
The
format's going to be
industry's
changing.
and we're on the cutting edge with it. We're leading the change, and I'm so excited to be able to blend traditional radio and television with social media, how we're doing it for our local community. Man, this is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys enjoy the rest of your week. And, if you, like what Joy said, keep yourself up and keep going and moving forward. You got this. Have a great rest of your week from B-Rad and Jake.
See you next time.